Colonel Jared, let's start. So how significant is this bilateral exercise in the wake of recent clashes that India has seen at the border with China? I also understand, the U.S. policy, so as far as Pentagon is also concerned, has very clearly defined China in terms of the power equation. Keeping all this, how do you define this bilateral exercise with India now at this moment? How significant it is, especially with the U.S. Army perspective?
So I think anytime we get an opportunity to train with one of our partners here in the Indo-Pacific area of responsibility, it's a great opportunity. Now, our focus as a brigade is two things. One, continuing to foster and build the relationship that we have with the Indian Army. And at the brigade level, focus on how do we create that interoperability with a longtime partner and a partner that we truly intend to strengthen our bonds going into the future. So that's our focus. That's our focus during Yudh Abhyas 20 has been really to make sure that we understand and we're really able to learn from the Indian Army as well as to teach them at the same time.
So yours has been an expeditionary army. Your worldwide experience is battle hardened, while Indian Army has a more defensive perspective on this provoked for our sovereign security. When you come together, what is the learning? What is the tactical learning from each other? You can point out some of the tactical highlights out of it.
Yeah, so I think at the brigade level and the battalion level, we have a great opportunity to take the experience that we've seen over the last 20 years or so from Afghanistan, Iraq, and the counterinsurgency fight, and also leverage the experience that the Indian Army not only has within its borders, but also their extensive work on the UN side of the house. And that's something that we don't do very much of in the United States Army is the UN mission. So it gave us a great perspective on how do you do both. And again, we learned probably more than from the Indian Army when it comes to how do they operate in both environments than we taught them.
So when it comes to the equipment, it's understand the U.S. Army is highly equipped with the modern equipment and warfare. How do you see the Indian Army in terms of smart equipment, modern equipment, and when you collaborate, and where you see the challenges for the Indian Army as well too, when it comes to the modern warfare, limited warfare, from your perspective?
Yeah, so I look at the United States Army as very technological advanced, but the balance we have to find is how do we make sure that our soldiers understand the fundamentals of their job, their profession. And I think the Indian Army has provided us an opportunity to not only see a very professional organization with the jack rifles, but also how technology can be complementary to the fundamental capability within the soldier. And what we just saw today was a demonstration of the capabilities of the Indian Army and Air Force. So I'm not sure if you were in attendance at the culminating live fire event today, but it was a great opportunity for us to appreciate not only the tactics and techniques that the Army has, but also how they are a capable force that is modernizing across their Department of Defense.
So this is the 16th edition of Indo-U.S. bilateral exercise, basically. Seen from the last edition, what is the improvement? Because the warfare, the rules have changed. And you see the recent war in Azerbaijan and Armenia, the use of UAVs and different technology. Are these kind of equipment being used here? Have you exchanged sort of interoperability? What is the outcome of this bilateral exercise? Again, in this sphere of limited warfare, using the modern technology.
Yeah, so during Yudh Abhyas 20, we did bring some of our smaller tactical UAS, some commercial off-the-shelf that we use at the squad and platoon level, and did expose the Indian Army, not only officers but leaders, on some of the capabilities. But this is a capability that is complementary and it enables a capable force. So that is one thing that we offer them, that we use on a daily basis. So, as they continue to modernize their force and look for technology, that's one of the things that they are interested in.
So there has been some drastic improvement or different dimensions of exercise have taken place compared to the last U.S.-India defense exercise as far as technology is concerned. Also, we have had some groundbreaking agreements, say BECA, CONCASA and all. How did it reflect in this bilateral exercise?
So if I look back to the Yudh Abhyas of the past, every single one has grown, and not only size but complexity. And I think that demonstrates the commitment from both countries to the relationship as we move forward.
And how do you see the Indian equipment, say mostly of Russian origin, say BMP-2 and you have Russian tanks? And do you get to handle and test? Did you see their efficacy now compared to your equipment, your tanks which you operate in the battlefield across the world?
So looking at their equipment, both their tracked vehicles and compared to our Stryker vehicle, there's different applications. As they've seen that is the vehicle that is most applicable to the terrain here, but it did give us a great appreciation for not only the complexity of the terrain here in India, but why they used the BMP and the T90. So I think that a great lesson learned from both of our armies to put our vehicles side by side and really look at the strengths and weaknesses of both.
Coming back to the last question, we see there's a broader perspective which the United States is talking about the Indo-Pacific strategy. Is broadly talking the connotation of the maritime, especially we have seen the Quad building up and Malabar exercise where the navies of our democracies come together basically. The US forces, especially land forces, how do you see this Indo-Pacific as far as the land forces is concerned, especially building up with India in the Indo-Pacific strategy?
So I think what I can speak from my level is how do we foster and continue to build the relationships. And for me as a brigade commander, that's where my focus is. Now when it comes to the holistic approach to their Department of Defense, I can only speak to the relationship and the real train objectives that we have for Yudh Abhyas 20, which across the board, from my perspective as a commander, we accomplish those train objectives, which is focused on interoperability. It's focused on continuing to increase our partnership and enhance it, as well as understand and grow within the Indo-PACOM, understand culturally.
Colonel Gerard, last question again abroad on a geopolitical situation. We see India is facing China at the border, while the USA has some difficulties in South China Sea, maintaining the international law of sea. How do you see such a geopolitical situation building up, especially and India and US forces coming in cohesion to fight such common instance?
So I would say from my perspective as a brigade commander, I don't really have influence on that, nor is that what I've been asked to focus on. So as I stated, what I'm really focused on is how do you create that relationship at the brigade and below level, and how that leads into supporting our overall strategy in the PACOM AOR.
Are you looking forward to more sort of exchange of advanced equipment, technology with Indian Army in near future? If you could highlight some of the things we can exchange together in terms of building up new smart technology which US Army has.
Am I looking forward to the exchange? Absolutely. And where, from my perspective, the most important exchange happens with our experience, both what we bring to the table for our experience in the past, as well as our techniques and tactics. But it's also understanding and growing an appreciation for the Indian culture.
Thank you. Colonel Jared from US Army, the Indo-US bilateral exercise. Thank you very much for the topic with Manish Kumar Jha. Thank you.